So I recently made a video breaking down Mr. Beast's success, and I noticed one of the biggest reasons he's so successful is that he's able to stand out from everyone else using content moats. And this is a concept Warren Buffett, the famous investor, came up with. It's basically a defense around your content that stops people from copying you and also makes you stand out from everyone else. So today I'm going to be sharing 5 different methods you can use to create content moats around your channel. I've never seen anyone talk about this stuff on YouTube before, and I guarantee if you watch this video through, this is going to be the best YouTube value you get in 2025. Let's get into it. Now, before we get into it, who am I? Well, I built an agency with my friends and we've worked with some of YouTube's biggest creators. On top of that, we've helped these creators get over 1.3 billion views. So I know a little bit on this subject. Now, when it comes to content moats, there are 4 key pillars. You have being first to the market. You then have volume, being the one who puts out the most volume of content, tons of shorts, tons of long form. You have quality, so the best quality in the market. And then you have personality. When all else is already done, viewers will go to the content that has the best personality and is the most entertaining. Let's go into each one and how you can use each one. So here's a couple examples of channels that are first into a niche. So this is one of my favorite creators right now. His name is Any Austin. And what he does is he finds interesting locations inside of video games and then just makes a video talking about them. Stuff like, where does Red Dead Redemption's power lines connect to? Weird places in specific game. And no one has done this before. He's the first to market to do this. Another great example is Game Theorists, the first one to create a show around game theory. No one else had done that before. He was first to market. Another one is Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast really pioneered the use money for views style. And he was the first one to do that, which gave him a huge advantage. When you're the first to get to a specific style of content, you get first mover's advantage, which means you benefit from all of the success and the risk of creating that style. If it works, you reap most of the benefits. If it fails, you're kind of cooked. Now, YouTube niches in general have something I call life cycles. And what this means is the niche will cycle through different stages, going from first mover's advantage, so the first one to be in the niche, to the first one to do volume in the niche, to then going to the first one to create quality in the niche. And then finally, when all that's been done, people naturally move towards the most interesting person. So once you get first mover's advantage, like Beast, for example, in the money style, then you have the next pillar, which is volume. And Gary Vee is a perfect example of this. He is a guy in the finance space, and you can just see with the amount of videos he's uploaded, his entire strategy that blew him up was volume. Put as much content out there as possible. Multiple shorts a day, a long form video every day, sometimes 2 long form videos every day. This is the most content production. You beat everyone else by having the most content production. This is a pillar that a lot of educational creators use and a lot of gaming channels use too. You'll see the gaming channels that post multiple times a day. Now, once volume is kind of done, the next style is quality. We saw this pillar get really abused in the finance space a couple years ago when Iman Gaji started this formula. I mean, you've probably seen his editing style, his thumbnail style everywhere across info, entertainment, content. And the reason why is he was the first one to get to that pillar of extremely high production quality. Animations, 4K camera, studio production, lighting, and quality. And that gave him an edge over all the other content in the space. The production value was amazing. The editing, the scripting, the animations were on point. And we see this sort of quality pillar with creators like Iman, with creators like Callaway. And Mr. Beast is also one who also has been kind of pushing in the quality direction too. Now, once you get all 3 of those pillars, you get the first to the market, you get the guy to do the volume, and you get the quality, what happens is the sort of expectation for content in that niche becomes elevated. We've seen this happen in the gaming space throughout the last decade. What happened is you had the first mover's advantage blow up, and then you had the guys come in like the PewDiePies who were posting every single day at the volume. And then you started to get more of the gaming creators who were uploading a quantity of quality. They were going for really high quality videos, but then still uploading pretty frequently. Now what we have is we move towards personality, which is kind of the last stage in a niche's cycle. And a perfect example of this is iShowSpeed. iShowSpeed isn't the first one to do a certain thing. He isn't the one that posts the most content. His content isn't the most high quality out of everyone, but he is the most entertaining. And when viewers are sitting on the toilet or they're eating food or they're trying to find a video while eating lunch, they always go to the most entertaining person in the niche. And iShowSpeed obviously is one of the best personalities we've seen on social media in the last decade. Other creators like this are obviously PewDiePie was a huge personality, Emma Chamberlain, Logan Paul was huge. But the secret sauce that most people don't realize is the real way to stand out in your niche is to grab grab a couple of these pillars and combine them together. Now we can see, I kind of noted on this briefly, but we can see with Mr. Beast, he was able to do that. He was first to the niche with the money style. And on top of that, he also mixed in the quality style. I mean, look at his production. Look how much money he spends on building teams, on building sets, on getting the most amount of cameras possible. Another example of mixing styles is Darman. He was able to go for the quality style where he's hiring little actors in studios. He's also doing quantity where he's uploading multiple times in a week. And then we have another one of my favorite creators right now, Whistling Diesel. He was first to the market. While everyone else in the car space was just reviewing cars, they would buy a nice luxurious car and keep it, nice and pretty in their garage, and they wouldn't mess with it too much. He goes out and he does the exact opposite. He takes that nice car and he completely destroys it. And on top of being the first one to do that style of content, he also has an incredibly entertaining personality. So mixing those two together creates a really unique style of content. Now, another moat that I don't see people talk about enough is talent. Now, I'm not talking about, acting talent or producer talent or director talent. Most channels never get to a place where they can even hire that sort of talent. I'm talking more about smaller roles like the editors, the script writers, VFX designers, consultants, assistants, how you do your videography in your videos. These are all things that every single creator needs to think about and at a certain point in their career are going to hire for. One of the best moats to stand out from other people is the talent. The skill level of your editor will impact directly how good your editing is compared to everyone else in your niche. If you invest in an extremely talented Netflix style editor, your content is going to stand out like crazy compared to everyone else who's just editing the videos themselves. Now, I want to tell you an interesting story. So when I launched my first channel, Emoto, this anime channel, we were creating these thumbnails by scratch. We'd get an artist to actually draw the thumbnail. And we ran into a problem where the artist would take a week to make one thumbnail. And obviously, if you're trying to post every single week and you're trying to do multiple thumbnails for each video, that's just not feasible. So what I did is I went and I tried to find other designers. And I found this guy who had the same level of quality. But the crazy thing is he was able to do 3 to 4 thumbnails in the same time as my first designer. And that taught me a lesson, which is that there's always someone out there that you can pay a similar amount of money, but will get you way better results. This is not even like paying top bang for the buck. If you just do a volume approach where you find as many designers as possible, one of those designers will have a similar price to everyone else and will just put out so much better quality stuff at such high frequencies that it completely changes the game for that specific part of your business, whether it's the designing, the script writing, the editing. Now, a couple unethical strats, because I find this stuff fascinating. And on top of that, and I'm not talking about unethically screwing over someone, but more, how do you stop people from manipulating you with unethical business practices? Being aware of these unethical business practices so that it doesn't hurt you and your business, right? So a couple things you need to look out for is stealing talent. So I think Mr. Beast is notorious for this, going and finding the best talent in the space and then just offering them so much money they come work for him, right? And that's a way to get the best talent to your company. On top of that, it's keeping talent. Once you get a really good person on your team, how do you keep them? And one of the best ways I've seen people do that is by locking them into high-level roles. Like, imagine you have a guy who comes up with all the ideas, all the thumbnails, and all the strategy for your content, and your videos get millions and millions of views. You want to keep that guy on your team, but someone else probably can pay more for him than you can. So what do? You make him the CEO of your company. And just with that, you lock him in to work with you for an extremely long period of time, compared to if you don't do that, he's just a random consultant, and the next big opportunity is just going to leave you. And the last one that you need to be careful of is fake employees. I've seen business practices where people will hire a fake employee, send them to their competitor, get them to work for that competitor for a couple months, and then quit and take all the secrets with him. And it's actually like a 500 IQ level strategy, but a bit unethical. Now, the next moat we have is specific content styles and how to come up with a unique content style. So we kind of talked about how Mr. Beast came up with the money style and Whistling Diesel came up with the destroying cars style. So how do you come up with an insane content style for your own channel? And the best way I've seen this is to mix and match unique styles. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, let's get into an example. We have Dodford here, who was the first one on YouTube to create these really high-level documentary videos about celebrities. His thumbnails were very symbolistic. His production quality was really, really good. And he would use a lot of like sensational packaging and titles to get you to click. Now, a good way to come up with your own unique style is to take his format, his content style, his packaging, and to put it into another niche. So this guy, Golf Cart, did that exact thing. He took the sensational packaging and titling and then just brought it over to the creator and the streamer niche. And that has completely killed it for him. In a matter of months, he's been able to go to almost 100K subscribers. Now, a couple notes here, because you don't want to be just taking someone's style and copy pasting it. You're just stealing that guy's whole spiel. Instead, what you want to do is you want to take small pieces of different content styles from in different niches and mix them together to create your own unique style. If we go back to my channel, Emoto, we were able to create this unique style by taking different styles from other creators. If you notice, we would have a lot of humor in our thumbnail. That was a rebound style that we really liked and we took. We also did this black and yellow banner text, which we took from Skip the Tutorial, which a Minecraft channel doing that style for thumbnails. On top of that, in the editing, we went with a very high quality editing style, which was really big in the entertainment space. And so when we mixed all these styles in together, it created a unique style that had never been seen in the anime niche before, and it made us explode, getting over 100K subscribers in under 200 days. Now, I think the key takeaway here is to just zig when everyone else zags. And what I mean by that is when everyone else is doing a certain style of content, you want to go in the other direction because it's very hard to stand out from everyone else when you're all making the same style of content versus if you just go in a direction no one is in, like exploding and destroying luxurious cars, it's so much easier to stand out because you are first to the market. Don't get me wrong, if you go and compete with other people, you can beat them by doing more volume, by doing more quality, by being a better personality. But that's a lot harder than just going in the opposite direction and doing something that's never been done before. Now, how do you find these unique formats? Well, there's three things I always look for here. I look for what is your personal experiences? What are you good at, or what's your personality, or what are your hobbies that you can intertwine with your content that makes it unique? On top of that, what are your experiences? Everyone's gonna have specific experiences that no one else can replicate. Like for example, me and my team have worked with some of the biggest YouTubers on the planet, and a lot of YouTube advice guys haven't done that. They've just blown up their own channel and then they've shared the success on a new channel. And that's an expertise that not a lot of people can copy. And finally, what is your unique advantage? So it's what makes your content different from everyone else. Whether it's the volume, whether it's an insane amount of quality, whether it's the prep beforehand, whether it's the guest selection, there's so many different factors. Here's a couple examples. We have, like I said, working with XYZ clients when no one else has. One of the people we've been working with, his unique positioning is that he's trained Alex Hormozi's sales team. How many people can say that they've trained the sales team for Alex Hormozi? Nobody. So that's a unique positioning that only he can do, that he can use to get a ton of views, and nobody can copy him. It's a unique moat. On top of that, it's like, what is your experience at X place? Let's say you worked for a big creator, or you worked at a big company, you worked at Goldman Sachs. That's an experience that 99% of people on social media can't copy because they haven't done it in the past. Now, finally, I think one key thing here, because I really think the niche and creating your content style is the biggest leverage point in the entire existence of your channel for getting views. You want to spend the most amount of time coming up with the idea for your channel and your content, because if you just go into creating content and you have nothing unique working for you, your chances of success are so much lower. So here's an example of finding a unique content format that no one's done before. So we have this guy, Gohar Khan, and he does these really fun entertainment shorts where he talks about educational topics, and you'll have a bunch of really cool motion graphics and visuals coming in. It's very interesting to watch, and it does really, really well for him. And then we have Mark Tilbury, who is one of the biggest finance creators on this space. And if you look at his shorts, his two most viewed shorts are literally copying this exact style of editing and pacing, taking a learning and making it entertaining. And he never did it after. He did these two shorts. They did extremely well. They're the most viewed shorts on his channel, and he never did it again. So that's a unique concept. I was like, oh, this is a pattern that works really well. No one's doing it. The guy in the space has never done it after. So we can do this in the finance space and explode, or we can extrapolate this style and bring it into another space that's never been done before. What about, YouTube strategy? What if you did it there? Or what about storytelling? Or what about selling? There's different niches. You can take these core principles and you can bring it into another niche and have completely unique content. Now, another method you can use to create a really strong moat is using public data. Now, I talk about it a little bit in this video, like what are the best ways to use data to get more views, but I think just using what's given to you on YouTube is so underrated. I mean, just look at Mr. Beast, the biggest channel in the space. There are so many learnings we can get just taking his videos and the views and putting them into different buckets, creating different graphs, seeing what you can learn, like how many elements are in his thumbnails, how many colors does he use, certain buckets that perform the best, why. You can use public data from any channel to speed up your learning process and compound your rate of improvement even faster. Here are a couple charts I made from Mr. Beast for a video a while ago, and they're just really interesting. Like, for example, we have his video length over time. You can see in 2020, his average video length was 14 minutes, and now it's 26 minutes, really emphasizing that longer videos are killing it on YouTube nowadays. On top of that, we have average views per video. You can see in 2017, he averaged 17 million views a video, and he kind of peaked in 2023 at over 3 300 million views a video, which is insane, by the way. But you can see it dropped dramatically afterwards. And now, of course, you know, the reason why part of that is because the views don't have time to stack up, right? In 2023, these videos have had 2 years to get views, while in 2024, they've only had 1 year. So there's that aspect too. But you can see there is a noticeable drop of 100 million views from 2023 to 2024. And that's a really interesting thing. And then you can take that and go and extrapolate, why is that happening? Are his video topics getting worse? Different questions you can kind of try and answer to come up with interesting learnings. On top of that, we have videos posted per year for Mr. Beast. So 2017, he posted 34 videos. In 2024, he's posting 20 videos. And I think in 2025, he's posting even more. But it's just really useful to take the data that's publicly available and try and learn more. Now, another method that I really like that no one talks about and no one teaches is to do old versus new. You take videos from the same channel that are on similar topics, that are similar lengths, that have similar titles and thumbnails, and then you just compare it. You just open up a Google Doc and you watch the intro, and then you watch the other intro, and you just write notes about what he did better. And just doing this, you can learn so quickly, because in his over 4 years, his content has evolved so much. And if you just compare his new content to his old content, you can see the different things he's doing that he's learned, and you can take those learnings and apply it to your own content. Another example right here is similar videos. You don't have to do it in the same channel. You can do it in similar niches. So it's like, look at these 2 videos, literally identical titles, identical thumbnails, and one got 300 million views and the other got 60 million views. It's like, what can we take away from these 2 videos and learn, comparing them? And yeah, that's just a really interesting way of improving your learning frequency. Now, an unethical thing that I want to talk about here that has actually happened to me is people hopping in calls and stealing info from you. So I want you to be aware of that, because this can happen in this space. Someone will be like, yo, we should connect, we should talk. And then they hop in the call and they just pester you with a ton of really personal questions about like, how much money do you make? What are strategies you know? How did you learn? Blah, blah, blah. Why did this video go viral? So be very careful when giving out information to people, because there's a lot of people in the space that will use that information to try and make better content when they're competing with you, or just take that information and sell it to other people, create courses around it, all this stuff. So be very careful when you're giving out really important information, especially information that's very specific to your niche, that's helping you win in your niche. Now, finally, moat angles. I want to talk about different ways to create a moat. There's a ton of different ways. So there is an insane amount of different ways to create moats around your content. You just need to pick a lane and go for it. So a couple examples, we have cost of content. Like, how expensive is your content? How much money are you putting into it? How little money are you putting into it? Frequency of uploads, the uniqueness of the style, the quality of the videos, the connections you have, the guests you can bring in, the celebrities you can bring in, whatever it is. The location you can shoot at, shooting in the US versus in Europe versus specific locations versus at a private property, right? There's different locations that you can create a moat that no one else can compete with. The authority you have on a given subject that no one else can compete with. The amount of research you put into a video. Some people will put in a couple hours. You can put in a week of research, and that's a moat that people can't compete with. And those are a bunch of different ways to create unique moats for your content. This is by far one of the highest leverage things you can do when launching a channel, is just spending more time understanding what is the unique style I'm creating and how can I make myself different from others. Because the sad reality is, when most creators start a channel, they base that channel off inspiration of a creator that they loved watching. And the sad reality is that most viewers would rather watch that creator than watch the brand new content of this guy who doesn't know how to make good YouTube content. Who would you rather watch? Mr. Beast's entertainment videos, or me launching a channel a week from now who has none of the budget and none of the learnings of Mr. Beast? It's very obvious who you would pick. So creating a unique content moat is a way to stand out where people have to come to you to get this style of content. Now, if you want to also use data to compound your learning rate, I made this video right here where I talk about the 5 charts that are the most important for YouTube and will compound your learnings even faster. Go check it out. Thanks for watching. Peace.